We are here to review the movie Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
Okay, hi, Amrika.
Hi.
The movie is basically about young Asa Butterfield who loses his granddad, who he's very close to, which is Terence Stamp. And Terence has always told him these stories as he was a kid about this peculiar little home for children out on an island somewhere near Wales, where he had been brought up. And there were people with, let's call them special powers. In another movie, you would call them mutants. Here, you call them children with special powers or peculiar children. For example, there's Ella Purnell, who's lighter than air. There's Finlay Macmillan, who's got some powers of his own in terms of what he can do with puppets. There's Lauren McCrosty, who has this ability to turn things on fire. So, and lots of other kids who are peculiar in their own way. Uh, Once he loses his granddad, Asa kind of has to figure out whether this is true, not true, and where does this all go, and who actually did kill his beloved granddad. What did you think, Andrika? Do you think, firstly, just to get something straight, did you think this was a movie for children?
I'm not so sure about that. I think that it was a little scary for me in the beginning. Um, it was not that great about the eye eating part. Uh, I didn't like that a lot, and they showed pictures of kids who didn't have eyes, and it was very gruesome that way. I didn't really like that.
What do you think is the age for which it's okay to have this movie?
13 plus. 13 plus.
13 plus. PG 13, guys. So, what she's referring to is that these kids, or the school, which is led by Eva Green, who's the kind of mistress of the school, she's Miss Peregrine. Uh, these kids are chased by Samuel L. Jackson and some creatures called the Hollows. And what they do with these children, or the the headmistress, etc., is, let's say, not very pleasant. But what did you think of the movie?
It was okay. It was not such a great thing. The plot was very interesting. I think they rushed it a bit too much. How Jake got a little too familiar with them too fast. How the relationship between Emma and him became again too fast. And I think that they could have stretched it out a bit and made the story a bit better, because I guess the only story was just the Hollows chasing after them to become more human. I don't really understand why they had to become more human. I mean, they were powerful, and they could have figured out another way instead of eating eyes of children. So that was a little odd for me. So I didn't really like it that much. It was okay though. I liked it.
So you have to basically suspend disbelief completely while watching this film. You don't understand. I'm sure it's all there in the books. This is based on the book, and I'm sure you get it from the book as to why things are so. But in the film, you don't really get it if you haven't read the book. You don't get what's this tussle about, who are these creatures, why, etc., etc. You do enjoy watching the kind of idyllic life these children lead. The way there's a particular loop kind of set up. Interesting things to keep you going. I thought the performances were very good.
Yes, they were.
Who do you think
I
impressed you?
especially liked Eva Green.
Yeah.
And also Finlay Macmillan, who was Enoch O'Connor. He also for me acted superbly well, and I liked Eva Green in it because I think she was very suited to the role. She acted very calmly, and she acted very calm, and she also knew what to say at the right times, and she was very chilled out with her acting, basically.
True, and I think as someone who was kind of looking after children, she did have this very British, unruffled kind of persona.
Yes.
I mean, so, and it's shown in a scene when basically she confronts Samuel L. Jackson with the kids around, and how she kind of takes care of the kids first, before kind of dealing with him in its own way. So I thought, yes, I would agree with you. I also was very impressed with both Asa Butterfield and Terence Stamp, basically.
Yes.
The kid and his granddad. I thought they did a great job too. Ella Purnell was good,
Yes.
as was Lauren McCrosty. they're good characters, good actors. Rupert Everett had this really small role. I didn't really
Yeah.
understand why that role was even needed in a sense. Uh,
Rupert was with
Rupert
that?
was the ornithologist, the bird,
Oh,
and so
yes.
yeah, lots of famous names. Judy Dench is there for a very small blink and you miss it kind of role. Again, no idea why she was needed for that that role or that length, uh, but an interesting film. Lots of things that you don't really understand in a movie sense.
And there were some parts which weren't really needed for the movie. There was one part that scared me, and it kind of just went away after it. There was
Yeah.
no need for it. And I just didn't really like that part. I get scared very easily, so I didn't just really like that part.
She was on edge a little bit, I must point out, and I think the point she's making about it being for 13 plus is a very valid one. What would you rate it, my dear?
About 6 or 7 out of 10.
Pick one.
6. I'm gonna go to 6.
I'm going to go with 5 because I really doubt I'm going to actually be watching this film again. And for me,
Yes.
moment I go beyond 5, it at least has to have the potential for me to watch it again. So for me, it's a 5. I also think they did complicate the story too much towards the end. Some things not explained, some things not understood. Uh, could have been simpler, possibly. Interesting idea, but probably a better execution.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.